Good morning. It's January the 4th, and I'm down on South Albert because I had to pick up my medical records from my doctor's office because he's retiring. So I thought I'd do a walk down here and just kind of do a bit of a lap. I'll go to south on Albert, north on Angus, back down on Albert until I get back to the car. I'm in front of the Shoppers Drug Mart, if you're wondering. You probably aren't, but that's where I am. And here, let me make sure I'm focused in the distance. In the distance. And then we will. So this used to be a brew pub here, and I watched them doing stuff to it, and I thought it was probably going to be another restaurant, but it's not. It's Canadian Blood Services, of all things. It's about, well, it was about minus 15, I think, and as you can see, we got some hoarfrost last night, so it's kind of pretty. So we'll go down south, we'll go all the way down to Gordon Road, go around the corner, go up Angus, and then come back down again on Albert here. Try not to get hit by a truck or a car. Both of those would be unpleasant, to say the least. Try not to fall down because there's going to be lots of ice along the way. So Albert Street, of course, is the main north-south drag through Regina, and this is the southern end of it. You don't have to go too far down this way and you're out of the city. 7-Eleven. Guess that's where the truck was going. Or else it's just driving through the parking lot to turn around. I'm not sure. I did do some publishing stuff this morning, and yeah, so I did do some work this morning before I came out. Got new books coming up, and emails, all sorts of things to worry about. This is a grocery store here. Used to be I guess it was a Sobeys. Now it's called Fresh Co. I don't think I've been in there since it turned into a Fresh Co. Main thing I remember about this grocery store was that we went shopping there the morning after our wedding, after we got married. We hadn't told anybody where we were going for our honeymoon, mainly because we weren't going anywhere. And we saw somebody there, and oh, look, you're still here. Yeah, yes, we are. We went somewhere later, but we didn't go somewhere that night. Of course, I often walk on the other side of this road when I come down here to drop my car off down a ways here at OK Tire. A little chillier than I thought it was. It feels chillier than yesterday. It's also a little earlier than yesterday, so I had more sun warming things up yesterday. Gas station and express sushi and teriyaki place. Interesting mixture, I always thought. Grab your sushi and your gas at the same time. Did you get gas with your sushi? Well, yes, but it wasn't the sushi's fault. Go down. We'll see lots more hoarfrost when we get over to Angus, I would think. We'll go through their parking lot because their sidewalk's not cleared here. I bought a tire here once. That's about the only time I've ever been in here. I don't remember what car that was for. That's how long ago it was. Hope you can hear me all right. I know the mic is a little further away than I'd like, but there's just no other place to attach it to the parka than where I've got it. So it's as close as I can get it to my voice. Greco's has been there a long time. I haven't been in there in a long time, but I remember going in there, 30 years ago for a cast party after one of the Regina Lyric musical theater shows. I think it's still in business. It was fine. We never think of it as a place to go, but it's been there a long time. It has a certain, blankness to it. I'm not sure. I hope it's still there. I don't know why, since I haven't been there in 30 years, but it's a traditional Greek restaurant that's been here forever. All right, this was the new strip mall they built not too long ago. So Papa John's in it, and a sandwich shop, and the rest of them still look pretty empty. I don't know what will be in that little strip mall. Wendy's here. I don't think I've ever been in that Wendy's. Another big grocery store up here, Save on Foods. That one we go into sometimes. They have things our Safeway doesn't have sometimes. Used to be a Canadian Tire. That building. So we're getting close to where I normally walk from when I drop off the car on the other side of Albert here. I think this will be an hour walk, probably more like 45 minutes. That's okay. Go home and have lunch. I'm hungry. We made one of our favorite family recipes, which my mom picked up when they lived in Texas, or maybe New Mexico. It's called green enchilada casserole, and it's basically a kind of Mexican lasagna. So you got a layer of tortillas, corn tortillas by preference. The flour ones get too soggy. Then a layer of sauce, which is tomato sauce basically, with some mushroom soup and ground beef and onions. And green peppers, jalapenos, chopped ones. We usually go with the mild ones, but you can make it as hot as you like. And then a layer of cheese. There's 3 layers like that, baked in an oven. There you go. So it's very much like lasagna, only it's Mexican. Tex-Mex, probably. And it was something my mom made for special occasions, and it became one of my favorite foods. And we have the recipe. In fact, my niece collected a lot of my mom's recipes in a cookbook, which we don't use a lot of, but that's one that we do. We also have pecan pie, which was our favorite dessert growing up that Mom would make. Mine, anyway. Can't speak for my brothers, I guess, but I think they liked it too. Oh, that's slippery. Really, really slippery along here. The slipperiest places are where the cars have pressed down the snow and then it freezes, it becomes ice. So yeah, we did that. It was great. And there's some left, and I haven't had my leftovers, and it's better as a leftover. It seems like the flavors deepen if it sits for a while, so I'm going to go home and have some of that for lunch when I get this walk done. There is a sidewalk here. I wasn't 100% sure I wasn't walking on the road, but there is a sidewalk here. I'm not sure it continues much further, though. Or at least it's not cleared. There's a great... we'll go up here through the parking lot now. There's a cannabis shop. They're everywhere. I don't understand how that many people can be interested in pot. Oh, the Rock. That's fairly new, I think. Swan Pizza. Chung Chun rice hot dog, which is interesting. And then Dandy's there. Artisan ice cream is really, really good. I highly recommend it. They also have some really high-end chocolates called Lux, which I also recommend. They actually opened their ice cream shop in January, which is not, prime ice cream weather, but they've made a success, and it's a place we go whenever we want good ice cream. Okay, up here's where we'll turn the corner, then we'll go up Angus back the other way. I remember what that was before it was a Dollarama. My nose is running because it is cold. What else is here? I guess that's a beauty salon, I guess. Another pizza. Chicken place. Looks closed though, that one. Maybe not. Chicken and pizza. Halal grocery shop. Salon, optical. My Wai Bistro, that'd be Asian food. And then used to be called Bonzini's down here. Pub. It's still called Bonzini's, or at least the sign's still up there. As far as I know, they're still in operation. Haven't been in there in a long time either. Another place I went with. Most of these places I went to were show parties, cast parties after shows is what I'm trying to say. Okay, this is Gordon Road. Over there is the Southland Mall. We're not going that far. We'll go down this way. See the beautiful hoarfrost on all the trees. Nobody has said hello this morning, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're not there. I discovered last week there was a day when I thought nobody was walking with me, and maybe better on the sidewalk than the parking lot, slipperiness wise. And then, oh, look at those beautiful spruces over there with the frost on them. And then when I got home, I discovered that in fact there had been comments. I just didn't see them. So if you're there and I don't respond, that could be what's going on. Right now it looks like nobody is watching, which means you're probably watching the, oh yeah, look at all those. Get some really good hoarfrost down this side. You're probably watching the replay, which is fine. I appreciate that too. Don't forget you can subscribe. If I get to 1,000 subscribers, I make money. Very, very little money, but more than I'm making now, which is none, even though there's advertising appearing on my channel. I don't get any of that at the moment. Okay. This hasn't been very well cleared. Look at the beautiful hoarfrost over there. See these two trees here look particularly nice. And well, all of them over there look nice. Keep looking for one that'll make a good thumbnail. That might be. It's not bad. We'll see what else we see as we continue along here. I sometimes have started from here on walks because Positively Perfect there is where we buy kitty litter. Best kitty litter. Used to buy food and stuff there, but used to buy him this more expensive food, but he didn't really seem to like it all that much. And we discovered that he's just fine with ordinary cat food. So he gets that, 1 can of cat food and a couple of scoops of kibble, and that's all he eats. He's very well self-modulating when it comes to eating, so he's not a fat cat by any means. Well, we'll take this rather precarious path through the cleared snow here. And the he I'm referring to is, of course, Shadowpaw, after whom my publishing company, Shadowpaw Press, is named. Should get some nice hoarfrost down this one. I thought I would. It's one reason I decided to come down this side instead of just walking on South Albert today. Also, this means I didn't have to cross Albert. Mixture of snow and hoarfrost on the pines here, spruce. You know, this sidewalk should be the responsibility of whoever owns the apartment buildings, but they clearly can't be bothered. Because this is not cleared at all. I was expecting this to be cleared. It's just been beaten down as far as I can tell. And we do have a city bylaw, but are these sidewalks not the responsibility of these buildings? Let's see how that could be, or why that should be. That's a senior's home over there, nursing home. Well, this is a much more precarious walk than I anticipated. I could walk up there closer to the buildings, but then you wouldn't see the trees as well. This is like hiking through a... Well, I am going to go up there because I didn't look cleared at all. These all have fancy names. This is the Elm Crest, apparently. Oh, there's a snowshoe hare. You see them everywhere. Oh, there's somebody. It is Louis. It was particularly pretty this morning because of the frost. Possibly Louis, but I'm going to guess it's pronounced Louis. This one's called the Oak Crest, although it's missing the T, so it's the Oak Crest T at the moment. Right, now we have to go back to the sidewalk. That's called the Park Crest nursing home, I think. Parkside. It's not actually Parkside, but they call it Parkside. Oh, this is better cleared anyway. You got the Willow Crest, so I guess they're all named like that. Elm Crest, Pine Crest. Nope. The airport's off in that direction. You might have just guessed. Elm Crest, Oak Crest, Willow Crest. You can see why I thought that might be called the Park Crest, but it's not. How far is the airport from here? I could walk there and from here an hour, 45 minutes. It's really not very far. If you're driving, it's about 15 minutes from here. Frankly, it's about 15 minutes from anywhere unless you're really on the far, far side. And even then, if you're going around the ring road, you get there pretty quick. Would it take me an hour from here? Maybe just 45 minutes. See how pretty the streets look down there. Unfortunately, there's a big ugly truck in the way. They look pretty down this way too. This one is Georgian Gardens, so it has a different name, probably a different developer. Has a pretty entrance, so I've always liked the entrance to this one. Sun's starting to pick out the Frost on that one is pretty. I'll probably take down my hood at some point. Get warmer as you walk down the side streets. So it's all residential once you get over on that side. Meanwhile, the businesses that I walked by are over there, just a block away on Albert Street. Try to read that if I can get it where I can. Well, the weather may take some getting used to, depending on where you're coming from. Okay, going this way. Okay, you've got to be careful crossing the road because that's where it's the slipperiest. Very slippery. It's another older style apartment building. Has this ornamental entrance here. What's this one called? Oh, Toronto? Well, it still takes some getting used to. My wife's from Toronto, but she had family out here, so she was out here a lot growing up. My daughter is currently at the University of Toronto, or will be when she goes back on Sunday, finishing her 4th year in kinesiology. She will be graduating, which is hard to believe. And what she'll do, not having school, except of course she's got graduate school coming up after that, so she's not quite done school. Casablanca Apartments. Yeah, it's hard to believe. She ought to still be a little girl, but then I usually think I should still be a little boy, so time does go by. Park over there, part of the flood control networks. There's a creek down there, or channel. I don't know if that's natural, that one, or artificial. It's hard to tell sometimes what was there originally. It's not straight, which might imply that it's more likely to be a natural creek bed originally. Well, for the most part. Just because it's small helps, and then it's got lots of green space. Well, white space this time of year, but green space for 5 months of the year anyway. Brown space for a couple of months, and then white space. White space, of course, is something in publishing we talk about for page design. We got lots of white space right now in Regina. Again. Closest I'm coming to falling is crossing the streets here. They are very slippery. We had that freezing rain last week, and that's still under everything, it seems like. Kind of lower rent, literally, apartments over here. I don't know when these were built. I would guess the 50s from the looks of them. I don't know for sure. There's a few of them with this look. Okay, how long have I been walking? 24 minutes? Yeah, so if I carry on with my original plan, it'll be less than an hour back to the car. It's not too much further up here. I'll turn around and start walking down Albert again. 3 or 4 more blocks this way, and then back around the corner and down Albert, back to where I left the car. In front of the Shoppers Drug Mart. This is also a nursing home here. Or seniors retirement home, or whatever they call this one. It has angels in front of it. Part of their Christmas decorations. Angels we have heard on high. Sweetly. I should know that better than that. So we've got some Christmas decorations up. They call it Skilled Nursing Center. Elmview Skilled Nursing Center. One would hope that all of these are skilled nursing centers and there aren't any unskilled nursing centers. Nah! I guess he was afraid that car was going to pull out in front of him. I don't think he was going to. Very, very slippery still, again. There are hazards to these walks. I haven't fallen this year. I did fall last year once. I've come close a couple of times though. You really don't want to do that. Especially when you're getting up there like I am, 63 years old. I don't feel the day over 62. What this one's called either. Let's see when we get to the entrance. Okay, that's enough of that. Once you start doing funny voices, it's hard to stop. This one is called Atrium, the Atrium. I think that's just an apartment building, not a seniors apartment building. And these are just block after block of these things, which are, well, I don't know when they were built, but they look almost identical to my university dorm, oddly enough. Probably in the 60s. Yeah, but there's a bus network. I mean, obviously we don't have subways or in fact, this is a bus route. In fact, there's a bus. You can see it up there if you look down in the distance. You can't get around by bus. And if you live close enough to downtown, you can get around by foot quite well and, you know, take a taxi for the rest. Or an Uber. All right. This one is better cleared, not as slippery, I think, once I get past the downward part there. I'm going to want to walk and see there's a bus stop right there. I'm not going to walk down there. The sidewalk has not been cleared at all down there, so I'll walk through this parking lot here. Used to be Rainbow Cinema's entrance here, but it's closed. It used to be called the Golden Mile Center, but it's got a different name now, and it's not quite what it was. And redeveloped into a different kind of mall. There's portions of the old one left, but they don't call it. Oh look, it's a mountain range. Too bright, I can't quite read that at the moment. Probably June. That's likely to be hot. But July, July. But I would say June. June is a lovely month. Or May. But you won't get all the leaves won't be out till the end of May. It's usually around Victoria Day before they're really starting to bud out fully. So June, mid-June, somewhere along in there. Around the time of my daughter's birthday, which is June 13th, is nice. Also, that's probably the time when you might see any flowering trees and bushes have flowers, lilacs and things like that. Dogwood, whatever else might be flowering. It's hardly Victoria when it comes to flowers, but it does have some flowering trees. The boulevards and places like that, people's homes. The flowers themselves, still a little early for them to be at their peak for any flower gardens. Oh, there's the bus. Should I go down to the sidewalk here? No, it probably ends. The cleared bit probably ends once you get past the bus stop. July'd be nice too. It's unusual for us to have really hot weather. If we're going to have it, it's likely to be late July or August. But you never know. See? Buses. One bus anyway. Okay, I'll turn the corner and then it's just back down to where the car is. Which is back, 4 or 5 blocks in the other direction. I think I can take down my hat, my hood, I mean. My head's warm enough. Oh yeah, well the weather network will show you, or get the app. Get the app for your phone, and you can put it in whatever city you want to. Or check Environment Canada, they tell you too. Okay. We'll kind of walk down in front of the stores here on the mall, I think. Makes more sense than walking all the way out to Albert Street. And maybe a little more interesting. Now my ears are getting cold because I put down my hood. Trouble is I have a big head and my toque usually rides up so it doesn't quite cover the bottoms of my ears. Ask anybody, they'll tell you, Ed Willett, he has a big head. I'm not sure they're talking about physical or metaphorical. So my bank technically is in here, although I never bank here. That's where my account is, I think. Grocery store here on the other side of that stack of salt. President's Choice grocery store, to be precise. Another place we never shop. I'm regretting putting down my hood, so maybe I'll put it back up again. Just take a moment to snap it up, if I can, with one hand. There we go. I gotta get my glove back on. Now, wake that thing up. There we go. Oh, that's why there's all these people coming out. It's a gym. Another cannabis store. Then you get the liquor store, so it's kind of, addiction central here, I guess. Smart Center, that's what they call it, which is kind of not very catchy. It used to be called the Golden Mile. Probably on the edge of town when it was originally built, not too far from it. Big liquor store here. Okay, I called it, President's Choice. It's a real Canadian superstore is what it is. President's Choice is the brand. Okay. Again. Liquor store, liquor store, liquor store. Urban Cellars, it's called. They're closing all of the government liquor stores, which will be a real change. Saskatchewan's had government-run liquor stores since Tommy Douglas, who, of course, was both a socialist and a Baptist preacher, so he was all in on government control to begin with of everything he could get his socialist paws on, and disapproved of alcohol as a Baptist preacher. So apparently originally in the government liquor stores you had to go to a little window and fill out a form, and they would disappear into the back and bring you what you had asked for, so it all seemed very shameful in a way, which I'm sure was Douglas's influence, probably. I met him once because he was from Weyburn, where I used to be at the Weyburn Review. And let's get over to the sidewalk, get off of the better cleared here. Anyway, I met him when he came back. He was very old then, but he came back for a return trip to where his career started. He's a good speaker, but you'd expect that of a preacher. Okay, we're just a couple of blocks away now from the car, so almost done. Should go back down Albert again here. Didn't have to wait long either, which is always nice. And this road is clear enough that I don't have to worry about slip sliding away. Slip sliding away. But the sidewalk disappears, so I have to go up into the gas station lot. It doesn't really disappear, they just don't clear it. And there's Dairy Queen. I've been in there quite a few times. My daughter used to go there with friends after dance or theater things. And the one next to it is an Indian restaurant. It used to be just a family restaurant, but it's been an Indian restaurant now for a long time. I don't think I've ever eaten in there, though. I've eaten in other Indian restaurants. I like Indian food, but This one isn't one we think of. Our favorite one is called Caraway. It's more downtown. And then Earl's. This is the new Earl's still, to me, but it's been here a long time. The old Earl's is now maybe an Indian restaurant too, on the other side of the street. Used to go to it quite often, and go to this one sometimes. Just another place where the kids like to come after dance competitions or things like that. So quite often we'd be here after the dance recital. I mean, not competition so much, but recital. And all the little kids would sit together, and all the big kids would sit together, and then all the adults would sit together. And my car is now just half a block away. Which will be the end of this walk. Don't know if there'll be one tomorrow. I don't necessarily do one every day anymore. I used to be much more religious about it, but it does take a huge chunk of time, and I'm always busy, so it can be challenging sometimes to tear myself away from the computer, get out there. But if I don't do it, I'm not getting any exercise either, so it's important too. And I remind myself of that. Plus, of course, I don't want to disappoint my 669, I think, last time I looked, subscribers. And again, if I get to 1,000, I can start to make a little money. Tiny amount at that level, but they won't give you any until you get to 1,000 subscribers. Okay, so we will stop here with a view of the hotel across the way. Thanks for watching with me, and yes, Happy New Year to everyone if this is the first time you've watched this year. And I'll be back soon. And remember, you can subscribe.